Alright, streamers, you know what time it is. Keep on pissing, baby.
I love this song. I just love this song. How's everybody doing? Can you guys hear me? Am I coming through loud and clear? Oh, goodness gracious. How's everybody doing tonight? Let's see who I got with me so far over on Twitch. I've got Sinister Antics. What's up, Sinister Antics? And Kevin Smythe. What's up? How are you guys doing? Coming through loud and clear. Very good. Very, very good. Who've I got with me over on YouTube so far? Mr. Zom, Jeff Sheeran, my buddy Dave Vanderhoff, Al from Al Suspiria. It's just Al Suspiria. John McCullough, Gypsy Warrior, JP, Jeff Overing, Arn, Robert Long, Phil's Creepy Videos. How's it going, Phil? River is here. Hello, River. My buddy Chris, Crystal Lake Counselor 1977 is here. Joe Bob Tarhill is here. Hoarder Fruit. What's up? How's everybody doing tonight? Hope y'all are doing well. I'm sure you...
Yes, darling, what is it? Mother, this cloth smells of death.
Thank you, Toronto Freddy, for that $2 Canadian super chat, my friend. I appreciate that. My condolences, buddy. Thank you, Toronto Freddy. I appreciate that, my friend. Yeah, I'm sure you guys, if you haven't heard, you probably have heard now. Joel Schumacher, the director of The Lost Boys, of course, as well as Flatliners, 8mm, the number 23. I saw some people mention the number 23 in the chat. A Time to Kill, Phone Booth, Falling Down, Tigerland. Guy directed a ton of movies and directed a lot of really good movies. I think the guy was an underrated filmmaker, personally. I think he had a very unique style, and yeah, it's too bad that he's gone. He directed one of my all-time favorite movies. We're going to watch it here tonight, The Lost Boys. So I posted on social media today that I can't imagine what my childhood, nay, my life would be like without The Lost Boys. And yeah, so... If Lauren shows up and badmouths this movie, make sure to ban him for 1 full hour. Yes, he will certainly be banned, without a question. Envy Davler, what's up? How are you doing? He had quite the roster. He did, absolutely. Yes, live chat still tomorrow. Patreon chats or Patreon stream tomorrow. Yes, indeed. 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Got my Dos Equis here. But yes, very sad that Mr. Schumacher passed away. If you guys haven't seen Tigerland, which is a really good movie that Joel Schumacher directed with Colin Farrell, I would highly recommend it. That was one that not a lot of people saw, but it's really good. I highly recommend it. Of course, Falling Down. I love Falling Down. That's a good movie. Yeah, I mean, you know, Schumacher directed a lot of good flicks, man. So, scary thought, if you hadn't seen this movie, we more than likely wouldn't be here. I don't know. I mean, that's a possibility. That's a definite possibility. But I've seen The Lost Boys. I cannot tell you how many times. I know the movie backwards and forwards. Yeah, I used to rent it constantly as a kid. I've told this story before, but I'll tell it again. I was homesick from school one day. We had this little convenience store across the street from my house. And my grandmother actually walked over and rented me The Lost Boys as if it had medicinal purposes. Like it would, you know, cure what ails you. But, I just love this movie. So, has anybody here, is this going to be your first time watching The Lost Boys? When is the next Unsolved Mysteries commentary? Well, actually, the stream from last night got blocked all over the world on YouTube. It's still up on my Twitch channel, but FilmRise blocked it entirely. Because there was footage from, Unsolved Mysteries. So they blocked it, and that sucks because it was a really fun stream. I had a great time doing it, and you guys who tuned in seem to have a really good time with it also. So if I do any more in the future, they will have to include no Unsolved Mysteries clips, which kind of sucks because, I mean, Unsolved Mysteries was a big part of my growing up, but I have emailed a couple of different YouTube channels that handle Unsolved Mysteries and asked them if it's okay if I play some of their videos during streams and talk about them and that sort of thing. So hopefully I'll hear back from them and they'll give me permission to do that. Yeah, I've already got like 3 different Unsolved Mysteries to talk about during the next Unsolved Mysteries stream. So we've not started the movie yet. Horror Gal, what's up, Susan? How are you doing? FilmRise is who blocked the video. It is still available on my Twitch channel though. So if you guys do want to see it in its entirety, it's up on my Twitch channel. So been like 18 years since you last saw GP. I grew up on The Lost Boys. I love it so much. I love The Lost Boys. Seen it too many times. Movie magic. Yes, I agree. It is movie magic. I remember renting this with my buddies all the time on the weekends. Steak Sauce is in the chat. Hello, Steak Sauce. How are you doing? Yeah, it sucks. It sucks that they banned the entire video because the entire video did not contain. Actually, the majority of the video did not contain anything Unsolved Mysteries related. So I mean, they could have, you know, claimed the video, and I could have cut out those parts, or they could have just claimed the video and, you know, took all the ad revenue from it. That would have been fine. But they didn't do that. They just straight up blocked it all over the world. So, Kiefer Sutherland is incredible in this film. I wonder if he filmed this right after he was done shooting Stand By Me with Corey Feldman. Yeah, I think actually, I think Joel Schumacher saw him in Stand By Me and was like, "That's David." What did I think of Marilyn Manson covering the opening song from this film? It wasn't the same. It wasn't the same. I much prefer the original. Yeah, I've got the Blu-ray too. I've got the Blu-ray here. It's in my laptop, and it's ready to roll here momentarily. Thoughts on Michael Keaton coming back to play Batman in the Flash movie? Sure, why not? Why not? You know that you've never seen The Lost Boys River. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I noticed that, Jason. As soon as I popped it in, my my laptop, it just immediately started. That's, yeah. They blocked it all over the world. That's what it said, at least, that it was blocked worldwide. Nope, not started the movie yet. I'll give you guys few minutes here if you're going to watch along with me to get your copy of the film queued up. I'm at the very beginning of the movie, 0.00.00. I do believe that the film is on Shudder in its entirety, if you are a Shudder subscriber. I need this tonight as the job I've been at for almost 20 years let me go today. Oh my God. Glad I got you here to cheer me up. Oh, Freddie, I'm so sorry about that, man. 20 years. Oh, man. That sucks, man. Really sorry to hear that. Really sorry to hear that. But yeah, we'll try to cheer you up tonight, Freddie. Yes, I did see the Lost Boys sequels. The second one, the Tribe. Oh my God, that one was bad. That one was bad. The Thirst I thought was okay. I kind of enjoyed The Thirst. But the Tribe is just, oh my God. That one's bad. That one is bad. Do I think this movie motivated a lot of young Satanists? No, I don't think so. How do I think The Lost Boys compares to Near Dark and Fright Night? Well, I mean, I love all three. Near Dark is kind of in a category all by itself, in my opinion. And Fright Night's a lot of fun. I mean, I don't know. I love all three. It's difficult to compare all three because I think The Lost Boys Near Dark is just in a league all by itself as far as vampire movies are concerned. This and Fright Night are tied for the best vampire movies from the 80s. Yeah, skip the sequels. Oh, you're getting Severance? Good. Near Dark is a great film. Near Dark's a great film. Bradley Pierce, what's up? You've never seen Near Dark before, Jeff. You should definitely check it out. It is very, very good. If you guys haven't dropped a like on the stream, please do so. I would greatly appreciate it. But yes, avoid those lost. Well, the Thirst I thought was fun, but I mean, you can skip it. In my book, there's only one Lost Boys, and this is it. You prefer Fright Night 2 over Fright Night? Yeah, I mean, I do too. I do too. Yes, Bill Paxton is in Near Dark. Great performance from Bill Paxton in Near Dark. Thank you, Susan. Are you guys ready to get say hello to the night and get lost in the shadows with the Lost Boys here? Because I am ready. You got to ask yourself a couple of questions before you start the Lost Boys. Do you still believe? Number one. And number two, are you ready to say hello to the night and get lost in the shadows? What did Jeremy pester me for food today? Nothing today. But he has been on a hardcore Wendy's kick lately, and he's got me completely burnt out on Wendy's. As a matter of fact, the last couple times I ate Wendy's, it did not sit well, put it that way. It disagreed with my stomach. But yeah, I'm completely burned out on Wendy's now. So, oh, goodness gracious. Toronto Freddy, you were a sheet metal worker. Well, you know, you've got some severance. You know, good luck finding something else out there, man. And I really hate to hear what happened, man. But you'll make it through. You tried Wendy's breakfast 2 weeks ago and was sick for the rest of the day, Sinistrantics. All right, so you guys ready? Let's get the ball rolling here. It's time to say hello to the night and get lost in the shadows with the Lost Boys. Again, I've got my copy of the film set at 0.00 at the very beginning. And yeah, here we go. All right, we're going to count down from 3, 2. Hold on. What is my computer doing? Why are you doing that? Okay, here we go. False start. In 3, 2, 1. All right, here we go. Oh, here, cry little sister. Oh, come to your brother. I mean, this movie. The shot over the ocean, the music, just, oh my God. Oh. Thou shalt not kill. When I was growing up, every year there was like a little carnival that came to town. And when I would see this at the beginning of the film, it would just, you know, make me think of that carnival. And there were always some freaky looking people at that carnival that very, you know, I mean, they could have been vampires. And I mean, just look at I mean, come on. You're a little kid in the 80s. You love horror. You see how these guys are dressed, and you're like, come on. It does not get cooler than this. Hey, Calhoun Reloaded, what's up? Your sister's obsessed with this movie. What's up, Dola White? How you doing? Oh yeah, this soundtrack is just phenomenal. I've got the soundtrack on vinyl. Around here somewhere. I always imagined what they looked like when they were flying. Because, you know, later on in the movie, you see them in their cave and they've got like bat-looking feet and stuff. Like I always wondered how bat-like they became when they were flying. And of course, I mean the Coreys. You know, nobody was cooler than the Coreys in the 80s. Edward Harriman, he's passed away. I would have loved to have met Corey Haim at a convention or something, but unfortunately, that'll never happen. I have met Corey Feldman, of course, and I got to meet Jason Patrick and Kiefer Sutherland a couple years ago, which was, you know, crazy. Yeah, Phone Booth was really good. I really liked Phone Booth. I saw it in the theater when it first came out, and thought it was really good. And this Doors cover. Oh, love this Doors cover. You guys know that originally the concept for the Lost Boys was that they were going to be like kids, like the Lost Boys from the Peter Pan story. Little kid vampires. And that Edgar and Allan Frog were originally like little kids in that version too. And that was the version that Richard Donner was going to make until he got what did he? I think was it Goonies? I don't remember what it was, but he couldn't direct Lost Boys. And it was actually Richard Donner's wife recommended Joel Schumacher. And when Joel Schumacher came in, he was like, these kiddie vampires? No. So Joel Schumacher is who to thank for the Lost Boys being, you know what I mean, what it is. Lethal Weapon. Yeah, Lethal Weapon came out Lethal Weapon came out around the same time, didn't it? Was it 87, 88, somewhere in that neighborhood? Echo and the Bunnymen are awesome. I love The Killing Moon. Great song. But yeah, the Janice Fisher and James Jeremias, they wrote that original concept, and then the Bohm guy, who's Jeffrey Bohm, came in and did the rewrites to make it what it is. So kudos to Mr. Bohm as well. But without Joel Schumacher, this would have been a much different movie. Yeah, The Lost Girls. You know, I think that would have been interesting. You guys know too that Eric Red, the writer of Near Dark, as a matter of fact. And The Hitcher, he actually wrote a prequel to The Lost Boys back in the late 80s. It was never produced, but it was going to tell the story of how David and crew became vampires. I love Grandpa. I love Grandpa.
Mama? Yes, darling, what is it? Mother, this cloth smells of death.
Thank you, Susan, for the $5 super chat. Much appreciated. Much appreciated, Susan. Thanks for another great live stream. You rock. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I believe Joel Schumacher hired him to write the script. It wasn't a spec, I don't think. Joel Schumacher is who wanted Eric Red to write that script. And just never got produced. This was probably the first movie also that introduced me to Texas Chainsaw Massacre. How cool. I mean, this movie's got 2 Texas Chainsaw Massacre references in it. Yes, Grandpa has one of the best ending lines in movie history. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Hey, Jamie, what's up? How are you? I love this dialogue here. If all the corpses stood up at once, it'd be one hell of a population problem. I like 8mm Aiden. It's been a long time since I last saw it, but I like it. I don't, how can anybody hate on this movie? I mean, it's so cool. You know what I mean? How can anybody hate this movie? Here comes Tim Capello. Do you all still believe? That's the question here. Do you all still believe? Tim Capello. I forgot to mention, I've met Tim Capello too. He was really cool. Super cool. And he actually did a performance of I Still Believe at the convention that I met him at. It was insane. Definitely a highlight of that convention. Jamie Gertz. Originally, the character that Jamie Gertz played, they wanted that character to be like a, blonde surfer type chick. But it was Joel Schumacher who was like, nah. And he wanted Jamie Gertz. And I mean, who wasn't in love with Jamie Gertz after watching this movie, or while watching this movie? Such a great song. Hey, Nico, what's up, man? How are you doing? Yeah, 8mm, Phone Booth, Lost Boys. Yeah, a lot of other great movies, too, man. Eric Red did Bad Moon, which I saw as a kid. All I remembered about the film for the longest time was the werewolf attacking the kid in his bedroom. This movie's I agree, literal perfection. Love this movie. What was my first reaction after seeing the film for the first time? I mean, it had to be love at first sight. I don't remember the very first time I saw the film, but I just remember renting it constantly. Constantly. The lady working at the video store, she was in Nightmare on Elm Street 5. I forget her name. I can't think of her name off the top of my head. She's got a credit in the end credits, but all of her scenes were cut out of the film. Just look at David's outfit. How cool is that? He's got like the denim jacket on underneath his trench coat, and just the hair, the spiky mullet, the 5 o'clock shadow. Come on. Timestamp for the Stragglers, 13 minutes and 15 seconds. The dog Thorn. Jamie Gertz has a real subtle, natural, and almost tragic beauty in this film. Yeah, absolutely. I remember we asked Tim Capello, to tell us stories from the set of The Lost Boys, and he'd mentioned that they had all the actors and stuff put up at this hotel, and that it just turned into like a party pad. Like every night was just a party, just like lots and lots of partying. I'm sure it got pretty wild. I had Jason Patrick posters all over my bedroom back then. He was such a hottie. He definitely had that Jim Morrison kind of vibe, Yes, I have seen Rush with Jason Patrick, Sinister Antics, yes. It's been a while, but it's pretty good. He also did a movie called Narc with Ray Liotta that I thought was really good. The Frog Brothers. Four, actually. I also loved comics as a kid too. So I mean, this movie was just hitting me on all elements. You know what I mean? I loved horror. I loved vampires. So bam, we got that. We got great music. Talking about comic books for God's sake. Yeah, I remember Time to Kill being a really solid flick too. It's been a long time since I saw it. That was one that I saw that one in the theater back in the day when it first came out too. I remember it being really good, but I've not revisited it in many, many years. Hey Kim, what's up? We are 16 minutes and about 10 seconds into the flick. If you want to catch up, we're still early. We've just barely, entered the shadows. We've just barely said hello to the night. You always wanted to see a Lost Boys Monster Squad crossover. Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about The Client. Yeah, Schumacher directed The Client too. Yeah, jeez. I mean, he had a really, really good career. You know, there were some clunkers in there, but yeah, he had a lot of good movies. I just love Grandpa. I love his shelf in the refrigerator too, with like the Dr. Peppers and like the ice creams and stuff. He's like, nobody touches that shelf. Yeah, he did do Flatliners. He sure did. You know, I actually really like Batman Forever. I don't remember being that big a fan of Jim Carrey as the Riddler. I thought he was a little, you know, difficult to bear in that movie. But I like Tommy Lee Jones as Two-Face, and Nicole Kidman. Oh my God. Val Kilmer was kind of a very dry Batman. Definitely not my favorite Batman, but Pizowell started out being like David, but then turned into Grandpa. I had a spiky mullet when I was a kid. It wasn't quite blonde, but and of course Joel Schumacher told Corey Feldman to go home and watch Rambo movies to prepare for his character. So of course he's got the Rambo bandana on, the camouflage shirt. He's like, you know, trying to talk like Rambo. So basically he's just tried to be Rambo. And all these carnival scenes, I mean, or the boardwalk scenes or whatever, they just remind me of the carnival that used to come to town when I was a kid. And how kind of it was dangerous, the carnival, but it was kind of, I don't know, attractive because of how dangerous it was, or how dangerous it seemed to be as a kid, you know. And of course, Jason Patric turned down this movie more than once because he felt like he was too serious an actor to be in a vampire film. And Schumacher had to talk him into it, and so now does anybody from back in the day, did anybody watch American Gladiators from back in the day? Because Billy Worth, the dark-haired vampire, was on American Gladiators back in the day, and I actually think he won it all. I'm pretty sure he did. He won like the season competition. Brooke McCarter, the long-haired blonde vampire, he's passed away now too. I was friends with him on Facebook, and he seemed like such a nice guy. I always wanted to get him on an episode of The Sausage Factory to do a live commentary for Lost Boys. But, you know, just never had that opportunity. I'm sure he would have done it. Or, well, I mean, I had the opportunity. I just never pulled the trigger on it. And unfortunately, he passed away. Say Hello to the Night. Alex Winter. Bill of Bill and Ted is here. He had a pretty interesting acting career. I mean, Bill and Ted, Lost Boys. He was also in Death Wish 3 with Charles Bronson. He's got some really interesting stories from the making of Death Wish 3. Dr. Pepper and ice cream sounds good right about now. I've not had a Dr. Pepper in a long time. Billy Worth was also in Body Snatchers. Who do I like? I always liked Haim better in this movie. Haim was kind of, I don't know. I always, I don't know, the Haim's character was the one that I felt more attached to. The sax player always makes you go, what in the hell were they thinking of that outfit? It was the 80s, Jamie. It was the 80s, you know. Freaked. Yeah, I forgot about Freaked. Yeah, Freaked. Are you all excited for Bill and Ted Face the Music? I wasn't too blown away with the trailer, but we'll see. So check it out, Mikey. Heard they were trying to make a Frog Brothers spinoff. Death by Stereo. I don't know. I thought Haim was cool, but I thought he was cool in License to Drive and, just about everything I saw him in back in the 80s. That brings him the... I don't even know what that creature is. Is that like a beaver? Yeah, it won't be the same without George Carlin as Rufus. Oh yeah, I loved License to Drive. I rented License to Drive all the time too. Loved that movie. Hey Kenneth, what's up? How are you? Count how many times you hear Michael? I'm sure they say it a lot. what's what's interesting is Kiefer Sutherland and Jason Patric became friends after making this movie, and I think at the time or soon thereafter, Kiefer Sutherland was romantically involved with Julia Roberts, and then she broke up with him and got with Jason Patric. So I wonder if that ended their friendship. Also, always thought it was kind of interesting that, you know, they're vampires, but they also eat food. Because most vampire movies, they just eat blood. And if they, in some vampire movies, if they do eat food, it like makes them sick. So, I mean, there's kind of a, you know, it was different. Yes, Heather Graham is Mercedes. Yes. Heather Graham from License to Drive or Demi Moore from St. Elmo's Fire. I'd have to go with Heather Graham. Deborah Foreman in Valley Girl or Heather Graham in License to Drive. God, it's been so long since I've seen Valley Girl. I'd still have to go with Heather Graham. Oh yeah, Jerry Dandrige ate apples in Fright Night. His reasoning behind eating the apple is because he felt like he had some fruit bat in him. So he would like, you know, some fruit on occasion. So, yeah, he pitched that idea to, oh gosh, what's the director of Fright Night? His name eludes me at the moment, but the director was like, yeah, go with it. So Jerry Dandridge had a little fruit bat in him. Now, you got to wonder about how much, what was the mixture of blood and wine in the bottle, because drinking blood or wine tastes a lot different than blood. Not that I've drank a lot of blood, but you know, not just going to turn up a bottle thinking that you're drinking wine and like, this is blood and this is blood, right? Eh. Tom Holland, yes. How could I forget that name? '78 Myers, the 2018 one, the '78 one, of course. No question. I don't remember. No, I don't remember liking Dream a Little Dream. I don't remember watching Dream a Little Dream very much. Maybe that's because Feldman was the lead in that one and Haim was more of a co-star. No, I mean, I don't. This is a this is a key example of if your friends jumped off of a bridge, would you jump off too? And clearly Michael was like, yeah, I would. Oh yeah, Sinister Antics. You read way too much into it, man. Way too much. So, I mean, when you hear their voices down there, you got to think like, well, maybe there's like a big mattress down there that they all landed on. So if I let go, maybe I'll just, About a month ago, I tried to watch Dream a Little Dream. I shut it off in 20 minutes. Wow. I don't remember it being that bad. Those are cool sunglasses, too. Could the Frog Brothers have been part of Dream Warriors? No. I don't think they would have lasted long against Freddy. Everything in this movie is cool. I mean, yeah, everything in this movie is cool. Uses Windex as aftershave. Oh my goodness. One thing a lot of critics pointed out back in the day when this movie first came out was the fact that Corey Haim's mouth is open like the entire time. The entire movie. His mouth is just like hanging open. He's got that kind of... And apparently it was something that bothered Haim so much that he worked on not doing that. Sting of the Scorpion, what's up? How are you doing? Aquanet Mall hair. Have you guys seen the music video by Gunship? That's Lost Boys inspired, but it's also got like Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Blade in it, and Seth Gecko. It's pretty fun. Let's see. We are at 17 minutes. I'm sorry. 37 minutes and 23 seconds. Love this movie, but I refuse to eat fried rice or lo mein noodles for years after I saw it. Well, I love lo mein noodles, but just about every time I'm eating lo mein noodles, I think of the Lost Boys. I find it crazy that critics mainly just watch films alone in a theater before they review the film. Just shows how out of touch most film critics were and still are. Ah, yes, Jeffrey Bohm. Yes, very good screenwriter. Yep. And he did an excellent job here. I don't think I've even seen Dream a Little Dream 2. Dawn of the Dead or Halloween? Man. That's a tough one. I love both, but I'd probably have to lean more toward Halloween. Yes, very sad about Joel Schumacher. You quote the movie every time you eat lo mein, Susan. It's worms. Worms. Jeffrey Bohm also wrote The Phantom with Billy Zane. Oh man, it's been forever since I last saw that movie. No, I've not read any of the Lost Boys comic books, Chris. The Nook was being a good dog. He was protecting his. You're a creature of the night, Michael. Yeah, that Gunship music video is so awesome. Great song, great video. Great sax work from Tim Capello. Yeah, I've seen the Dream Warriors music video. The shirt Haim is wearing in the breakfast scene, the one with the people on it, those were called worry people. Really, I had no idea. You learn something new every day. Yeah, Jeremy loves Lost Boys. Jeremy and I are going to do a Child's Play 3 stream, live commentary, very soon. That'll be one that we do like in the early afternoon. Oh crap. My brother, I think my brother's a vampire. Get yourself a sharp wooden stake and drive it right through his heart. That's pretty cold. Now he's floating. You like the Friday 8 commentary, Jason? This one will probably be even more fun because Jeremy loves Chucky. Loves Chucky. So every time Chucky does something mean or kills somebody, Jeremy will just have a huge grin on his face. Mom, I think we need to have a real long talk about something. Is Lauren here enjoying Heyman Feldman? No, I don't think Lauren. I think Lauren is probably. He very wisely decided not to tune in. Don't listen to him, Mom. I'm not floating outside his bedroom window right now. He's totally making it up. And come on, I mean, there's no way you would have suspected that the video store guy was, he's just so plain looking compared to, the Lost Boys. Yeah, my birthday's in July, on the 12th of July. I asked Jeremy the other day. Jeremy said something about my birthday being next. And I said, yeah, what are you going to get me for my birthday, bub? And he went, nothing. He thought about it for a second and went, nothing. So, know what I'm getting for my birthday now. The big nothing. How do I not tell Mom that you're a vampire, Mike? I mean, it's not like getting a D in school. I love that. I tell you what, if Jeremy found out I was a vampire, I'd be done. The last thing I'd see would be him standing over me with a stake. And he'd probably say, yes, and then then it'd be done. He don't play. He don't play. There's Laddie on the back of the milk jug. Best performance in Lost Boys besides Kiefer Sutherland? Good question. I mean, I think Corey Haim does a really good job here. And of course, Grandpa. I mean, Grandpa's the man. So, I mean, come on. What if Johnny Depp was in The Lost Boys? Yeah, He could have done it. He could have pulled it off. Yeah, Jeremy has a really kind of twisted sense of humor. Like when he told me that I was 80 years old during that stream. And then if you look at his face, well, I'm like, oh, well, thanks, Jeremy. Thanks for telling me that I'm 80 years old. He kind of leans over and he gets that evil look on his face and he grins. So he's got a twisted sense of humor. Garrett, what's up, man? How are you doing, buddy? Another huge fan of the Lost Boys in the chats. What's going on, man? Favorite Tommy Lee Wallace film? Ooh, gosh. I mean, I love Halloween 3, but I would have to go with Fright Night 2. Yeah, Vamp is great with Grace Jones. Yes, Vamp is a really good vampire movie that flies under the radar. That's a really good movie. I need to do a review of that movie. Yeah, Vamp is a lot of fun. Robert Russler. Great performance from Robert Russler. Another great song. Garrett, I was telling everybody about meeting Tim Capello at that convention and getting to see him perform. I still believe. That was pretty crazy. Yeah, I've not seen the 1979 Dracula with Donna Pleasance in a long, long time. Always wondered why the vampires left Capello alone. See, yeah, he's just, he's too cool, man. They were just like, oh, he's cool. Let's leave him alone, They were probably like, we couldn't get a hold of him. He was so oiled up. Every time we'd grab him, he would just slide away, So, Capello live was killer, that's for sure. I believe Scream Factory did a release of the 79 Dracula. Don't know if it's any good or not, but I know they released one. Jason Patrick should have played Jim Morrison in The Doors instead of Val Kilmer. He definitely had the Morrison look. There's no doubt about that. He could have done it. Oh, look, Mom. I'm a vampire, all right. You're going to have to give me some space. Looks like I wasn't the only one that got lucky last night. Oh, Grandpa. It was that Windex cologne. That's what does. I mean, maybe I'll try that. I don't know. Spray myself down with Windex. My mom and my best friend were both disappointed in me for missing that Dracula 79 question on Lawrence Trivia Show. Total humiliation. I got that one right, but it took me a second because I knew that Langella had done Dracula in 79, but I was thinking, wait a minute. It'd been so long since I'd seen it. I completely forgot that Pleasance is in it. And some of those questions were really tough, too. Yes, I've seen Vampires Los Muertos. Los Muertos. I don't remember a whole lot about it, honestly. I remember it being okay. The Sax Man has a secret in the Lost Boys comic books. What might that secret be? Is he a saxophonist of the night? Kill your brother. You'll feel better. They're cold-hearted, man. These Frog Brothers. I mean, but that's what, they got to be that way to survive, The dinner scene with Max. When I eat spaghetti, sometimes, especially if it's spaghetti with Parmesan cheese, I'll always, is this Parmesan cheese or is this garlic? When I eat spaghetti, I'll sometimes think of this movie too. I always thought it was, in like a vampire movie, they can't come in unless you invite them in. Well, I mean, what if the vampire sets your house on fire and just waits for you to come out? What are you going to do then? The Lost Boys Blue is still one of the best looking blues to date. The thing came out so early in the blue game. Yes. Lost Boys desperately needs a 4K. But yeah, the Blu-ray does look really good. There's no doubt about that. But yeah, a 4K would be nice. Every aspect of this film shaped Piz's life. I've seen My Best Friend's a Vampire. Oh, really? Tim Capello in the comic book is a vampire hunter. And so is Grandpa. Well, clearly, I mean, Grandpa knew about. He came prepared at the end. So, I mean, that doesn't come as a surprise. But that's pretty cool that in the comics, Capello was a vampire hunter. That's cool. Uh, it's such a good scene. The dinner table scene. Oh, Lord. I think they were going to make a Castlevania, or it was in production for many, many years. A Castlevania game. Just never happened. Or a Castlevania movie. It just never happened. Yes, I have seen Once Bitten. Toronto Freddy. That movie, it seems like that movie used to be on like TBS and TNT constantly. But yeah, I like it. Thought Lauren Hutton was pretty hot, back in the day. The garlic test. Please go all out and get some 80s Lost Boys hair. In the comic, wasn't Grandpa a vampire? The head vamp was Widow Johnson. The old comics, not the new ones. I don't know. I've never read any of the Lost Boys comics. No, not really a fan of the Fright Night remake. Not a fan. Yeah. Once Bitten is fun. It's a lot of fun. I like the dance off at the costume party between Lauren Hutton and Jim Carrey's girlfriend. It's good times. Ah, The Forsaken. Gosh, I forgot that movie existed. I used to have that movie on DVD. I don't know what happened to it. But I remember kind of, liking it too. I mean, it was kind of a combination between Near Dark and The Hitcher. But I remember enjoying it. Piers, why do you think Fell Dog is a bad actor since he became an adult? I don't know. I don't know. I've not seen Vampire Circus. Have not seen Vampire Circus. Guys, I'm going to run. I'm going to make a bathroom break real quick. And I'll be back shortly. Back just in time for the beach massacre. And the vampires, when they vamp out, they look so cool in this movie. I mean, the eyes, the foreheads, the fangs. I thought it was cool too that like the fangs were not in the normal place where, fangs were in vampire movies. Thought that was a nice touch. And this scene was originally a lot gorier. They had to cut it down. Like the scene where Michael bites into the back of this dude's head. Apparently he like doesn't just bite into it. He like just like tears a chunk out of it with his teeth. So pretty savage. Pretty savage. This is a great shot here with all of them on the little hill. Now you know what we are. Now you know what you are. Big Crack Rock, what's up, man? How are you doing? You're a little late to the party. We are 1 hour, 3 minutes, and 36 seconds in. I know this shirt was sent to me. This shirt was sent to me by Peter Bark himself, or someone claiming to be Peter Bark. Yeah, that was Greg Canham did the effects in this movie, and did a fantastic job. How you doing, Big Crack Rock? You doing all right? Favorite 90s John Carpenter film? Jeez. Maybe vampires. Let me refresh myself on John Carpenter 90s films. Let's see. Vampires came out in 98. Escape from LA 96. Village of the Damned. I need to revisit In the Mouth of Madness. It's been a long time since I've seen it. But yeah, not, I liked Body Bags. Munching on some Cheez-Its. Big Crack Rock Jeremy loves Cheez-Its. Loves Cheez-Its. That's right. He also did, Greg Canham also did the makeup effects for Bram Stoker's Dracula. So he's done a lot of vampire stuff. There's Grandpa getting his large steaks ready. He knows what's about to happen. Grandpa's car. I don't remember liking Village of the Damned very much, but I think I've only seen that movie once or twice. I do need to revisit The Mouth of Madness. I got the Scream Factory Blu-ray. I've just not sit down and checked it out. The Frog Brothers are brutal killers. There's no doubt about that. I like George Romero's Martin. Robert. Even though you're a vampire, you're still my brother. That's love. But, I mean, the Frog Brothers do what they, came to do. Well, at least they stake one at least, so. The outfit Corey Haim wears to go vampire killing. He's like, he's really, what color blue would you call that? Is that baby blue? I don't know. What color blue is that? I mean, oh, goodness gracious. Save yourself, Piz, don't watch it. In the Mouth of Madness, I guess you're talking about. Do you like Sutter Kane? Or no, it's do you read Sutter Kane? I love them hanging upside down here with their bat feet. Mouth of Madness is fun, but it's not what I think of when I think of Carpenter classics. Yeah, I agree. Teal, mermaid blue, turquoise, aqua. Yeah. I can just imagine him standing in front of his closet going, okay, so we're going vampire killing. I think this teal sweater is... Poor Alex Winter. Marco was his name. Sutherland was so good in this. So good. I love the the single tear that runs down his cheek here in a minute. Apparently those contact lenses were not comfortable. Those were the kind of contact lenses they could only wear for a very short amount of time. Maybe turquoise repels vampires. I can imagine that it would. I mean, you know. Of course, all this driving is just a prelude to License to Drive. Prince of Darkness is the Carpenter movie that I think gets overhyped by fans. I like it. I really like Prince of Darkness. That's another one. It's been a while since I've seen it. Hey Joe, what's up, man? And filling up the squirt guns with holy water. Come on. How cool is that? Ah, the video store. This also makes me nostalgic for the video store. Thoughts on Romero's Bruiser? Not his best. Not his best. They just run into this christening and start filling up there. Ah, goodness. The Widow Johns. I think my hair looks really dark because it's growing out. It's getting thicker, so it looks darker. Not had a haircut in, oh gosh, a while. Not had a haircut in a while. I used to be a video store manager, Kim. Cool. Here they come. The big showdown is about to happen. If you guys haven't left a like on the stream, please do so. I would appreciate it. It was the best job. You really miss it. I never worked in a video store, but I certainly spent enough time hanging out in video stores. Little laddie. You've forgotten a nook. I never watched any True Blood. Never watched any True Blood. I've still not watched The Tiger King. This is also cool here. The vampire's assault on Grandpa's house. Yeah, I've seen a number of Bava films. Nanook to the rescue. I actually watched my very first Joe Bob's Drive-In last Friday. Didn't watch the whole thing, but that was the first time I actually tuned in for a last Drive-In. And it was the last one of this season. So I watched about half to 3/4 of Hellraiser 2. Oh man, the plumbing in this house is screwed. Screwed. Wasn't that creepy when the vampire kid in Salem's Lot was floating at the window? Yes. That is definitely one of the creepiest moments in that film. No doubt about it. About to have some death by stereo. Yeah, Clive Barker's scheduled to attend Scarefest here in Kentucky in, I think, September. So I'd love to meet him, but I don't know. Everything's kind of up in the air. Here we go. Death by stereo. And just completely destroyed Grandpa's stereo. Death by stereo. Oh, the plumbing. Oh, Grandpa's not going to be happy. They use the Dukes of Hazzard horn in this film. Grandpa's got some kind of weird horn on his truck. Uh-oh. Laddie's vamping out. You miss sucker. The attack of Eddie Munster. Such great dialogue in this movie. Blade. I was not a fan of Blade 3. I like Blade and Blade 2. I wasn't a big fan of Blade 3. You are a killer. Favorite non-Halloween Pleasance movies? Alone in the Dark is good. Donald Pleasance plays the complete antithesis of Dr. Loomis in that movie. But I like his performance and I like his character too. He's also good in Dario Argento's Phenomena. Maybe I'm the only one, but when David bites it here, I always felt bad for him. I always felt bad for David. Poor David. But if you notice here, David, all the other vampires, like, melted away or exploded. But David doesn't here. So they kept him intact just in case of a sequel, which of course never happened. I didn't feel bad for David. He let the power go to his head. Piers, when you met Kiefer and Jason Patric, did they speak highly of the Lost Boys? Well, Jason Patric didn't really speak very much. Kiefer Sutherland was pretty nice. But I mean, you really didn't have much of an opportunity to do a lot of small talk with him. I was wearing a Lost Boys shirt that had him on it. And he was like, "Oh, I really like your shirt." I was like, "Oh, well, thank you." I've been trying to persuade me to watch it with Jeremy. What are we talking about? What show are we talking about that I have to watch with Jeremy? A little bit of a cheat here. He's like, you passed the test, but he's like, never invite a vampire into your house. A little bit of a cheat, but the blood-sucking Brady Bunch. Yeah, it's like the blood-sucking Brady Bunch. The Hilarious House of Frankenstein. Huh. I'll have to look into it. I miss Monster Vision and I miss USA Up All Night. The Last Drive-In is a good, Monster Vision replacement. But there'll never be another USA Up All Night. Here comes Grandpa. There was supposed to be more of Max burning alive inside of the fireplace, but they cut that out. And of course, Grandpa's house is just destroyed. Grandpa's house is ruined. That's who I really feel bad for in this movie is Grandpa. Because, I mean, goodness gracious, his house is just... Yes, Michael, I've seen all the Lost Boys movies, yes. Yes, USA Up All Night. Now Laddie can be returned home. Do you think they returned Laddie home, or do you think Michael and Star adopted him? I think they had to return him home. I love that. How much you think we should charge him for this? See, if I was grandpa too, I'd just be like, oh God. Just praying that my shelf on the refrigerator is still intact. Get that Dr. Pepper out and just chug it down. All the damn vampires. Ah. Faces look ugly when you're alone. Winston and wicked when you're unwanted. Oh, yeah, that final line is so good. Kelly Jo Minter, that's that actress's name. Such a good movie. Such a great freaking movie. I always like to see who did the stunts in the movie, and see if any of them played like if any of them played Michael or Jason or anything. Oh wow! But that was The Lost Boys, one of my all-time favorite movies, directed by, unfortunately now the late Joel Schumacher. So Joel Schumacher, rest in peace. Thank you for all the great movies. So what'd you guys think? Recognize a few of the stunt people's names? Yeah. I always like to see who did the stunts in the movie. Yeah, Echo and the Bunnymen cover of The Doors. Kimberly, have a good night. Thanks for tuning in. Take care. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. And it's unfortunate, though, that what brought on this live commentary was the passing of its director. But again, Joel Schumacher, he directed some really great movies, and this is my, one of my all-time favorite movies, which is The Lost Boys. So, yeah, such a great movie. And thank you guys so much for hanging out with me tonight and watching The Lost Boys and paying tribute to Joel Schumacher. It was a lot of fun. Hope we can watch a Joe Bob one day. That might be fun to do a Joe Bob live stream. Yeah. But this movie never gets old. Great soundtrack, lots of style, great performances, great vampire effects, cool vampires. This movie's got it all. All right, Anthony, take care. Have a good night. Thank you for tuning in. But yeah, let me give some shout outs here before we call it a night. Let's see who's still with me over on Twitch. Sting of the Scorpion 78, Big Crack Rock, Sinister Antics, Kevin Smythe, Envy Davler, Triple OG Banana. Thank you guys for tuning in on Twitch. I appreciate it. Let's see who's still with me over on YouTube. Toronto Freddy, Jamie, Michael Vandern, Gypsy Warrior, Anthony Jordan, Movies and More, Jeff Overing, Jeff Sheeran, Horror Gal, Susan, Jason Neal, Kimberly Davis, Arn, Mr. Zomb, Robert Long, Demand Real Liberty. Rock Music Forever 90. Aiden Vavra. So yeah, thank you guys for tuning in on YouTube. Yeah, tonight was a lot of fun. Let me see. Thank you, Toronto Freddy, for the $2 Canadian super chat. Much obliged. And thank you, Susan, for the $5 super chat. Very kind of you. So yeah, I guess we can go ahead and call it a night there. Again, thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching The Lost Boys with me and paying tributes to the late great Joel Schumacher. Tomorrow I am doing a patron live stream, Movie Talk with Patrons live stream at 8 p.m. And one of the things we're going to talk about is, of course, Joel Schumacher. And there's some other topics that we'll get to in that stream. Also, Thursday at 8 p.m., I'm going to be doing a stream with Buddy Cooper, the writer, producer, director of The Mutilator. So that'll be a fun conversation with Buddy Cooper, talking about The Mutilator, talking about, indie filmmaking, talking about The Mutilator 2, and a lot of other fun stuff. So mark your calendars for that stream this Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That'll be a lot of fun. So thanks again for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Y'all have a great night. Stay safe, stay healthy, and until next time, peace. And R.I.P. Joel Schumacher.